to Mock the Week. I'm Dara. Joining me this week, sitting in as a very late replacement for an unwell Andy Parsons. Get well, Andy. We've Josh Widdicombe. Josh, thank you very much. Also, Ed Byrne and Chris Ramsey, Chris Addison, Hugh Dennis and Milton Jones. We start with a round call. If this is the answer, what is the question? On the board of 6 categories. Chris, which category would you like?
Sport, please.
OK, the category is sport. The answer is 736. What is the question?
Is it Tom Daly's bedtime?
On which page of your home insurance does it say that they never pay out for anything ever?
Is it how many hours in a row has Claire Balding now been awake for?
Is it the only item at his local takeaway that Eamon Holmes hasn't ordered? And that is spring water.
Yeah.
Is it how many people have seen Keith Lemon the movie?
Generous. Is it? Generous.
Is it if you saw Pythagoras in concert, name one of the old numbers he might try and do?
Is it how many Cocoa Pops does Rain Man have for breakfast? 736 Cocoa Pops. 736 Cocoa Pops.
Is it the number of Americans aware of the Paralympics?
Is it what would Emil Heskey's squad number be at Barcelona?
Is it how many energy-saving light bulbs do you have to turn on before you can change an ordinary one?
Is it how many calories does the average man burn off while having a proper think about Jessica Ennis?
That's a new phrase, a proper think.
There's nothing worse than when you get caught by your parents having a proper think, is there?
I thought you were studying for your exams, and no, he was having a proper think.
It puts a new complexion on. Go to your room and think about what you've done.
It's going to bring towards the correct answer.
Okay. When reading the letters page of the Daily Mail, what year does it feel like it is?
Is it the amount of athletes that took part in the parade this week?
Absolutely right. Thank you very, very much. Well done. Yes, the question I was looking for is how many Team GB athletes took part in the Olympic and Paralympic victory parade in London on Monday. According to the British Olympic Association, 736 athletes celebrated their record-breaking medal haul in front of over 1 million spectators. The victory parade was made up of 21 floats and featured a fly past by the Red Arrows. Did you watch?
What else can the Red Arrows do if they don't fly past? Interesting.
Presumably walk past in formation.
Yeah. Everybody loves the Red Arrows, don't they? Everybody really loves the Red Arrows. You think how much better people would feel about our unwanted intervention in other countries if we bombed them using the Red Arrows.
I went to the Paralympics. It was very exciting. It was quite complicated. You get used to, because I didn't know anything about it. And the first race I watched was the because you know they had those grades, and so I watched the S6 swimming. And I was like, they said it, I was like, the Essex swimming? I mean, I know that's frowned upon to be from Essex, but that is not a disability. She's slightly slower because her vajazzle will hatch in the water.
It's the front of the pool just looking like a weak gravy off all the false...
I thought Lord Coe's speech... incidentally, I find Lord Coe... Do you not think he actually... It's ironic that it sounds less posh when you call him Lord Coe than when you call him Sebastian.
Is he downgraded?
But he did that. He really hammered home the Made in Britain thing in his speech. It was all very stirring. I think it's a stamp of quality. It's a mark that you can see stamped on something. We stamped on this Olympics, you know, London 2012, Made in Britain, which I thought was slightly ironic considering Wenlock and Mandeville toys were all made in China.
I wondered if they're like... I feel, the Olympics is over and we can all recover from it because we've got another 4 years, but I worry about Wenlock and Mandeville because that's it for them.
Do you think Mandeville and Wenlock are going to break into the stadium, like, over the next... just sit in the silence and go...
Special brew.
Oh, here comes Wenlock! Yeah! Furry tear.
People say they really enjoyed the Paralympics, but I didn't actually see a ghost.
That would be amazing. An Olympics in which the javelin appears to throw itself.
I was going to the Paralympics and I had one of those lanyards that you have to have because I was working there. And I went for a fry-up at lunchtime and I was sat there and the guy came over and he said, "Oh, what's that?" I said, "Oh, I'm going to the Paralympics in an hour." And he said, "Oh, what are you competing in?" A, clearly I'm not a Paralympian, and B, as if I'd go, "Well, I'll have a fry-up before I do it."
The most astonishing thing about this summit is the number of just the huge roll call of new heroes. Like just watching Incredible Humans. David Radisha's world record-breaking 800-metre run. That was astonishing. I just sat there watching him, thinking, how does a human being learn to run 800 metres that quickly? And then you find out that he was trained by an Irish priest, and you think, yep, that would do it.
Some things don't get medals at all. I get very upset by the fact that in the show jumping and stuff, that horses don't get a medal. And in the dressage, they don't get a medal. And you look at the horse and you think, to be honest, I think the horse is doing most of the work. Don't you? It's no wonder, and in the show jump, it's no wonder they knock all the fences over, because the horse is just thinking, well, what's in it for me? More even if I go clear, I won't get a single vote in Sports Personality of the Year.
It's also very difficult for them to text the number because they're big foot on the phone. It doesn't really...
It's very, very rare that they have horse voting, and generally, if they do have horse voting, the nays have it.
We're away.
That's the best joke I've heard. Now we're starting.
You get into mad sports. There's things that I didn't really know. I didn't know about the steeplechase before, but that's now my favourite race on the track. You just go around the track and then eventually someone puts a big fence in your way, which you have to leap over into a pool of water, and then off you go. It's like the crazy golf of the track. They should completely embrace that. I think there should be a little bit further along, there should be a windmill that you have to run through. You have to avoid the sails clattering you, big rotating Boris Johnson head halfway down the track.
Just the mouth opening and closing.
Going, pah, 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 pah. I'm letting out athletes.
I love the open water swimming. I thought that was great, the open water swimming. But I did think it was one of the very few events that Rio are going to do better. There's a lot more stuff in the water there.
Did you actually watch the sailing at any stage?
I did.
Yeah.
It was the one that I just couldn't... I have no idea what's going on here.
Like, oh, he's at first. Oh, he's seventh. Oh, he's ninth. Oh, he's 14th. Oh, he's disqualified. No, he's back in. No, wait, he's won. He's gold. It's a silver. It's on the same row thing, like whatever. Randomly, somebody... Just you'd be watching going, oh, there he goes, and another boat would just go across like that. Oh, somebody's lost now.
I was watching the Paralympic sailing and I thought it was quite boring until I realised I was actually watching a repeat of 3 Men in a Boat.
I did think the broadcasting was generally excellent. I mean, at no point did I think that the BBC sent people along to events whose knowledge of the sport, or whose ability to communicate that knowledge was ever in doubt. It was just top quality the entire way through.
Look at the reaction of the Irish fans in attendance here at the XL Arena and what that signifies.
There's a rocket there. I can't call this. This is too tight.
Were you actually sent there by the BBC, or do you two just carry a microphone around with you all the time?
He asked me. I had no idea that we were going to be handed microphones and have cameras pointed at us. He said to me, do you want to go and see the boxing? And I went, yeah, sure, I'll go along. I don't know anything about sport. And then there's cameras on us. And then he interviewed, and actually on TV, he goes to me, so have you been following the boxing? Knowing I haven't been following the boxing.
Well, I knew that the thing is had the best chance of winning at Irish gold,
gold, yeah.
thingy.
was boxing.
Women's
Yeah, yeah.
boxing.
We've
That's
four
so
boxing medals.
stereotypical, isn't it?
Well, I'm sorry for
That's
living
amazing.
up to
What
it.
did you-
right?
what did you-
Yeah.
what did you
They're
say?
going, this is a disgraceful representation of Ireland.
What did you get for drive tarmacking? Sorry.
Well done on your medal for not wearing a coat on a night out. At the end of that round, the points go to Chris, Ed and Josh. Now we play a round called Dara Olympics. This game involved Josh, Milton and Chris, so if you could make your way over to the performance area, please. This round is our stand-up challenge. I launch a wheel of news, and wherever it chooses to stop, one of our performers must step forward and talk about that subject. The winner is whoever I think is the funniest. Okay, here we go. Let's spin the wheel. The first subject is holidays. Who wants to come in on that? Josh.
Not very good holidays, as it turns out. I bought a tent to go camping recently. I don't know if I've not done this before. I bought a 2-room tent. And then you get it home, and it turns out the 2 rooms they give you from your house are the bedroom and the porch. I'll show you, if I was going to take 2 rooms from my house on holiday with me, very low on the list would be the porch. I would choose the bedroom and the bathroom. So not camping. Never have I woken up at 4 a.m. and thought, I need to get to a porch. If I don't get to a porch, there is going to be an accident. If there was no porch on your tent, you wouldn't have an issue. You wouldn't get your tent out and go, oh, my God, no porch. Or where am I going to put my hat stand? I've got a yellow pages and 84 pieces of junk mail. I need a porch on these things. I never went on good holidays when I was a child. My dad was one of those people that was afraid of flying. He'd go, it's not natural, is it? Because if we were going to fly, we'd have wings. It's for birds, it's not for humans. But that's a terrible argument, isn't it? Because that's what technology is for. Helping you do things you couldn't do otherwise. If you give him a bottle of wine, he doesn't go, well, I'm not opening that because I don't have a curly finger.
Thank you very much, Josh. Well done. OK, let's have the next subject, please. The next subject is communication. Who wants to come in on that? Chris.
Hello. Communication now, these days, it's the more technologically advanced a form of communication, the more pointless and useless the subject matter is. For example, things like Twitter. You would never, it's not real communication. You would never tweet someone to inform them of a death in the family. It'd be slightly, you know what I mean, a bit harsh. Dad's dead, #fail. At the same time, you wouldn't show up at someone's house unannounced in person to tell them you just had a nice sandwich. All right, mate, it's 11 at night. What's up? Just had a blinded toastie. I'll see you at work. What? It is, I mean, the most pointless form of communication these days is it has to be YouTube comments. Wow. Just take a couple of hours out of your life, sit down and have a look through some YouTube comments. It's like scrolling through the mind of a psychopath. It's incredible, and I've got a game you can have to send them loopy, right? Go on to YouTube, find a video. It has to be unremarkable. It can't be anything amazing. It can't be a near-death experience. It has to be banal, boring and mundane, like a video of a cat yawning. You're laughing, there's loads of them on there. People are insane, right? Video of a cat yawning, go on, underneath, sign in to YouTube, comment one word. Fake. People lose their minds. How can it be fake? Cat yawn! Cat yawn! She was tired!
Thank you very, very much, sir. So that'll leave us with Milton. Let's see what you've been left with. Let's spin the wheel. The subject is family.
All my family are black and white. I phoned my dad the other day. He said, you left the room before I finished speaking. I wanted you to go to Holland and Barrett and get me some tablets. Where are you now? I said, Holland. I always left the room before my dad finished speaking. I remember once he said, why don't you go outside and jump up and down on the trampoline? Except I didn't hear the Aline. My grandfather, he eventually achieved his lifelong ambition to be a lion whisperer. Just before he died. Hashtag fail. My mother, she's got to the stage now where all she does is go on about who's just died.
Do you remember Muriel? She's just died. Do you remember Arthur? He's just died.
I said, Mum, get off the roof and give me the gun.
Thank you very much. Well done. Pointing out. Go to Milton Jones. Come on back. Our next round is called Headliners. Here's a picture of the Mayor of London with the Prime Minister. But what does BACC stand for?
Is it a before and after cosmetics commercial?
Is it they're pointing at each other and just saying, basically, a complete cock?
Is it Byrne airport conversation continues?
Boris saying, our education policy is as easy as BAC.
Is it Boris just greeting Cameron in his normal way by going, bountiful acclamations, Cameronius Caesar?
Is it Boris describing his life and he's just saying birds and cycling, cracking?
I think it's banging all the Conservative chicks.
Is it the start of an alphabetical list of people who've benefited most from the Olympics? Boris and Coca-Cola.
Cameron taken one look at Boris and said, you know, barbers accept credit cards.
OK, move towards the correct answer if you can, please.
Is it Boris and Cameron collide?
Actually, is it? No,
Clash?
it's not. Sorry, Josh. What was that answer?
Chris.
Josh is
Chris,
there.
sorry, Josh. I'm sick. Fuck off. How quickly do people boo you? Jesus.
At least when Andy's sick, he has the decency to not show up.
Sorry.
Let's do it again.
Sorry, Chris, yeah.
Is it Boris and Cameron clash?
Very good, well done, Chris. Very good. Yes. The answer I was looking for was Boris and Cameron clash. This is the news that Boris Johnson has declared war on David Cameron over Heathrow Airport's potential expansion. Johnson, who is against the third runway, labelled Cameron's indecision a fudgerama and simply mad in a row that overshadowed the Prime Minister's first full-scale ministerial reshuffle. What would Johnson rather see than a third runway?
I don't know, but I know that Fudgerama was a game they were forced to play at public school.
That involved a third runway as well, though.
He wants an airport. He wants another airport in the Thames estuary, doesn't
Yes, he does.
On a thing which has been called Boris Island.
Yes.
It's just fantastic, isn't it?
Boris Island sounds like just like a Jurassic Park. There's something that's, you know, be quiet. The Borises will hear you rustling. Like somebody's found the DNA of a long-dead 17th century baron in some amber and spliced it with a polar bear and brought these horrific creatures back to life.
A piece of rope with no goat on the end of it. The large Borises have escaped. They hunt in packs.
I didn't realise Heathrow only had 2 runways.
Yeah.
It's got 4 terminals. I presumed it would have loads of runways.
It's got 5 terminals.
It's got
10 Wagamamas.
Yeah. It's more of a Japanese restaurant than an airport.
It's the Wagamama to runway ratio. It's out of whack. More out of whack for Heathrow than any international airport.
The first I read of it, there was a headline that said, Cameron plans U-turn on Heathrow runway. That isn't health and safety.
Zach Goldsmith said that he'll resign as an MP if they go ahead with the third runway. And I thought, what will he do for money?
That's the thing with Zach Goldsmith. He's anti-Heathrow and he doesn't really seem committed to a career in politics. Because either way, he's just not in it for the long haul. Thank you.
see.
I've never heard that. That's amazing. That was like a cattle market.
How did Cameron do his reshuffle this week?
He sat down and had a proper think about it.
The hard thing about when Cameron did the, they had one of those things, they picked a word, because Cameron apparently, when he did the reshuffle, he was, I don't know which the minister he was dealing with, but apparently he was drinking a glass of wine at the time, which became swilling. He was swilling wine. I'm not sure what exactly, that's like a trough. They go, blah, 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 you're fired.
Because they were trying to imply that he enjoyed it, and he was denying it, but he clearly had a semi on.
Very good. That is a very good wine joke.
Except that's a white grape.
OK, let's not get ahead of ourselves. It was a strange reshuffle, though, strange in terms of the people they chose. I mean, he chose a health minister who believes in homeopathy and a transport minister who's afraid of flying.
Yeah.
And you might as well have gone, we need somebody for fisheries. Who's here from the Midlands?
More possibly a Chancellor of the Exchequer who knows nothing about economics. Oh, hang on.
It just makes you think that when it comes to the cabinet, you'd rather be in opposition. Because when you think about it, which would you rather be? A member of the cabinet or a member of the shadow cabinet? Shadow cabinet sounds like the puppet masters.
The cabinet think they run the country, but really the shadow cabinet.
I don't think we should use the term shadow cabinet because it makes it sound a lot cooler than what it is, which is a bunch of grown men pretending to have a job they don't have.
I owe you a thanks, by the way, because you bought me a present recently from your holidays, which
have you brought it in?
I have. So it was really, really sweet. Ed was in France on his holidays and bought me a present of a thermometer. You know when you get a present, you go, oh, thanks, yes, great, and I really appreciate that thermometer you bought me. And genuinely, for 2 weeks, I had no idea why Ed had bought me a thermometer. But apparently it has a vague kind of resemblance. They'd even give me a hat to do this. But wait, no, wait. Oh, here we go. There we go.
Look at it.
That's it. Yeah, OK. At the end of that round, opposed with Chris, Ed and Josh. Now we come to scenes we'd like to see. So if everyone can make their way over to the performance area, please. I'll read out this week's topics and then we'll see what our panellists can come up with. OK, here we go. The first subject is unlikely complaints to TV channels.
Dear Jim will fix it. Why aren't you replying to me letters?
Dear Living TV, stop breathing on me, you're freaking me out.
BBC, I find it extremely offensive that after each scene we'd like to see, the host, Dara O'Brien, appears to emit a loud fart.
Dear BBC, why have you given Andy Parsons that ridiculous wig this week?
BBC, I recently saw something on the Antiques Roadshow I would like to purchase. How much is Fiona Bruce?
Dear Dragon's Den, I have lost my keys, and for that reason, I'm out.
Dear ITV, I just watched Loose Women in High Definition. Please remove this option.
Dear Babe Station, sorry for the scrawl, I'm having to write this with my left hand.
Dear Babe Station, I've watched your channel for 10 hours now and I've yet to see a film about a pig working as a sheepdog. I shall persevere.
Dear Channel 5, I have watched Celebrity Big Brother. I think it should be renamed Big Brother.
Dear BBC, why don't you get Irish comedian Ed Byrne to do a documentary about ladies' pants?
Dear Dave, have you seen Phil? Yours, Bob.
Dear embarrassing bodies, I'm a man trapped inside a woman's body. I got mixed up between superglue and lube.
Dear Dave Jarvu, have you seen Phil Jarvu? Yours, Bob Jarvu.
Dear BBC, where can I get one of those blurred number plates you always see on television?
Dear embarrassing bodies, I think there may be something wrong with my penis. I've enclosed it in an envelope for you to
Dear BBC, why have you changed the name of Snog, Marry, Avoid to 3 Men in a Boat?
Okay, the next topic is things you wouldn't hear in a survival show.
Not all of us survived last night's tropical fruit juice storm. 5 alive.
At last, I have found some nuts and some berries. I hate it when they rearrange the aisles at Asda.
We dropped Piers Morgan and Jeremy Clarkson into a remote area of the Amazon rainforest with no supplies and no means of contacting the outside world. You're welcome.
There are many threats to the children of the Nabutu tribe. Crocodiles, snakes, Madonna.
Unfortunately, you do have to improvise some things. I've been using these leaves for wiping my bottom, which is why I've been thrown out of the salad bar.
And to make this wigwam, I just used 3 poles. Because, well, they're good workers and they're cheap.
It's a terrible moment when your fellow mountaineer turns to you and says he's got his arm stuck in a crevasse and you're going to have to cut it off. And then when he comes round, he says, "No, not that one."
Everyone in this gorilla's family has a role. Unfortunately, I'm his love bitch.
If you're really lost, it's time to use your Duke of Edinburgh skills. Hopefully, you can offend the indigenous tribespeople enough that they'll chase you out of the forest.
So now I'm going to show you how to make a snare, just in case, God forbid, you ever have to improvise a jazz-style drum solo.
Perhaps the most rewarding thing about looking at the women of the Nabutu tribe is they have their tits out.
Yesterday, I punctured my inflatable, which is terrible. There isn't a sex shop for miles.
So I'm at home and there's an 8-foot anaconda snake coming through the letterbox. I think it's some kind of Amazon mix-up.
Tonight on Bushcraft, the Vajazzle.
Okay, getting that round before we go to Chris here in Milton. And that's the end of the show. This week's winners are Josh Widdicombe, Ed Byrne and Chris Ramsey. Commiserations to Chris Addison, Hugh and Milton Jones. Thanks for watching. I'm Dara. Good night.
Stephen Fry's making us smile tomorrow at 10. QI's back for a jamboree with the letter J with Jimmy Carr. And with Rob Brydon tonight on BBC Two, Tom Jones, Amelia Fox and Steve Backshaw at 11:20 after Newsnight.